Well, hello there, ladies and gents. I'm Tammy Sapnewski, your crypto queen. Thank you so much for popping by my channel. Please note this is not financial advice. I'm only here to entertain you. But I will say this, try to only buy on those red candles. Tonight, we welcome to the Queen's Court Travis of Eth Saitama. Travis, thank you so much for popping by the channel.
Hi, hello everyone. Hello, Crypto Queen. Tammy, thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate you coming on by tonight. I really, really do. I want to focus on your project, though. You had done an AMA with Sandstorm, and he
Right,
reached out to me and he's like, hey, you know what? This is a really solid project. You need to look into this project because it's incredible. They pay their reflections in Ethereum 8%, which is a crazy amount of reflections to begin with, but to pay it in Ethereum is
right.
absolutely amazing. And of course, you're on the Binance Smart Chain, so that's pegged Ethereum that you do get in reflections. 8%. That's a pretty big percentage. What made you decide on 8%?
Well, there are a couple of reasons. One, of course, eight is a lucky number in Chinese culture. Two, I just figured that 8% would be something that holders would gravitate towards. I know a lot of reward tokens may have the same tokenomic structure, but their rewards may not be as high because the lion's share of that tax goes to the project or the team, whether it be marketing wallet, dev wallet, buyback, etc. I wanted to make the lion's share of those funds go to the holders.
Well, that was really nice of you. Thank you,
Oh,
because that
thank
is a huge percentage of reflections, 8%, like I said. So, when did you launch your project?
March 27th, 327.
Okay, so it's very
Yeah,
new project. Wow. Did you have a fair launch?
it was a fair launch. It wasn't fair to me, but yes, it was a fair launch. We had a sniper bot attack that happened that was only uncovered because we had an issue where we used Gnosis vault wallets for the marketing and dev wallets, thinking that that was going to be an extra layer of protection for holders. But unbeknownst to us at the time, Gnosis vault wallets don't interact well with smart contracts that do rewards. So it caused a bottleneck and prevented sales. So I paused trading, went into the transactions, and saw that in the first block there were several people that were able to purchase within milliseconds of me enabling trading, just these large amounts back to back to back. And so looking deeper, I discovered that they were sniper bots that had not only sniped liquidity, but had sniped the launch. So what I did was blacklisted those wallets and allocated the rewards that would have gone to them to the holders, re-enabled trading, and everything was beautiful.
Okay, wow. So your contract clearly is not renounced. This way you're able to blacklist wallets.
That is correct.
Okay. There's a argument to be made for contract renouncement. And I'm for both sides. Obviously, if you renounce the contract, it's safer. People can't do things like blacklist wallets. Some people feel like if they hold too much, the developer has the chance to blacklist them. But I think it's okay because, like you were able to take control of what was going on with your project,
Yes,
and get back those. I hate the bots, the bot activity. It
I
can
do
really
too.
it does a number on a project. I'm like on a good legit project, it can really bring it down.
Right, and it would have destroyed us completely because upon going through the transactions, what I learned was that some of those wallets had purchased enough tokens where they could have dumped, 200 BNB, 400 BNB, et cetera. It totaled up to over 2,000 BNB that would have been dumped on the community upon re-enabling trading. So it really did help to prevent people from losing a large sum of money. But in regards to contract renouncement, I do understand the argument and somewhat agree with it that contract renouncement is a good thing. And it used to be kind of a buzzword, right? And that's what everybody used when they were vetting a project, is they would say, well, is the contract renounced? Yes. Okay, well, they're good. Well, yes and no, because if the contract ownership is renounced, you can never update anything. So if you need to go in and change something such as a tax structure or blacklist nefarious actors, you won't be able to do that. So and the way that technology changes in the space, you have to maintain some level of adaptability. If you notice, you see a lot of projects now coming out with V2s, V3s. That's because they were launched, renounced ownership, and weren't able to update, adapt, or change when they needed to. So again, I'm not, for or against it. I just, in my case, it was better for us to maintain ownership.
Right. I agree with you 100%. Uh, was your contract audited before launch?
Yes, it was audited by Interfi, and post launch, it has been audited by SafeUApe.
Oh, Safeway.
Oh yes,
Mm-hmm. I,
love
I
love
had
those guys.
I
those
had their dev on for an AMA last week. I was very impressed with the Seifu Wape, and they were with the Seifu Swap. And I
Absolutely.
understand that you're on Seifu Swap as well. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The first BSC token on Safety Swap. Yes.
That's
Yeah,
great.
we're very excited about that. Of course, they have a fiat on ramp. So, guys, if you want to purchase ETH SATA, you can do so with Visa or MasterCard in the link that is at the top right corner of our website.
That's amazing, you guys. That makes it so easy. I'm always saying whatever we can do as a crypto community to make it easier for people that are not familiar with cryptocurrency to get them in to the space, just to make it easy. If somebody could just roll up there and use a Visa and buy it and be done, I think more people would enter the space. So I do like that they've gotten that done, and I like that you're a part of it. Now, how many team members do you have?
Well, technically, it is one.
Is that you?
Yes.
Okay.
And I wear several hats. Although, if you see me, I will always have on an Auburn hat. I do wear several hats as far as developer, chief marketing. We do have a project manager, Joseph, great guy. He does a lot for us. We have a community manager. But in regard to accountability, if anyone has any questions or concerns, feel free to ask them or to hold me accountable for anything that they may have an issue with.
That's really nice to hear. And of course, let me just do this. We have a docs dev. Clearly, you're a docs dev. And
That's
that's,
Auburn.
becoming so apparent in the space that that needs to happen. Somebody needs to get up and show their face on the camera. Here I am. It's me. I'm completely doxed, like us, like the YouTubers, like people
Right.
on Twitter. We're putting our faces out there and our names. So I think it's really great that you're doxed. I think it just
Absolutely.
lends credibility to your project to say, hey, I made this to build something for me and my family. I want it to be completely legitimate. And I think that's a great way of doing that by showing who you are, showing your face, and congratulations and bravo on that.
Well, thank you. Well, that also has two sides to it because I do understand the, complete decentralization argument that a lot of people use in regard to not being doxxed. Although I don't agree with it, I do understand it. But I want people to know that just because someone doxes themselves or shows you who they are, that is not the be all end all to protecting yourself, right? Because for decades, people were on television doing infomercials for products that were complete dog shit, for lack of a better term, and sold them and made millions of dollars, got rich, knew that people weren't going to make any money with whatever it was they were promoting, and did so all while having their face on television, name on television, etc. So being doxxed is great, and I think it should be the standard for the space, but it isn't the be all end all in regard to protecting investors. But that said, it does provide a level of comfort to know who it is you're dealing with, who it is that's behind a project.
It's bringing me a level of comfort right now. I'll just say that. So I do appreciate that. There are pros and cons with being doxxed, obviously. There are some people that say, well, you know what? I can't be doxxed because I work for the government. I'm a
Right.
coder with the government and I'm not supposed to be doing this. So I can't be doxxed. In that situation, okay, I would understand that. But I think there does need to be at least somebody on the team that is completely doxxed,
Right.
completely doxxed. So
Accountability is the word of the day, right? And that's all that people in the space are asking for is someone to be able to hold accountable to these things. But one thing that I've discussed with a few other marketers is that people don't necessarily have to dox publicly, but we need to start making sure that they at least dox to us. I recently did a virtual trade show in March. It's called MetaFest 22. I held it on March 12th. And all of the projects that I allowed to get booths, whether these people were doxed publicly or not, I made it a point to let them know they needed to at least dox to me. And that I would, of course, like I signed NDAs and made sure that, they felt comfortable that I wouldn't disclose any information, but they at least needed to dox to me in order for us to move forward with a strategic partnership.
well, that's great that somebody had a space where it held other projects accountable. So that's good that at least somebody there, was doxxed during your was it MetaFest?
Yes, MetaFest 22, METAFEST 22. I
Are
did it
you
on
going
the
to be
East
doing
Coast.
that on an annual basis?
Yes. Yes, I will be doing it on an annual basis. And I may also have another show coming later this year that I'm going to call. I was going to call it Summerfest, but if it goes into the fall, then calling it Summerfest will probably be pretty lame. If it's happening in like November and I'm like, yeah, it's Summerfest. But, but I do plan on having another show later this year. And the cool thing about what I did was I incorporated all aspects of Web3. So I had NFT projects, of course, crypto projects. Sriracha Inu was the sponsor, but I had NFT projects, crypto projects, gaming. We had a Call of Duty tournament. I had some speakers there. It was pretty cool, but it was also I was someone who was really new to the space. So it's not like I'm LeBron or Steph Curry that's putting this on. I'm just Travis,
Right.
and I'm asking people to participate. So it was a great learning experience, and I do look forward to the next one.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we do have a comment here from, I guess, probably somebody you are very familiar with, the young queen. The
Yes,
great thing about ETH SATA is the rewards are not in the native token. So when investors such as myself take those ETH peg rewards profits, it won't hurt the chart. And you agree with that. That's a great way to do it. And for people, we have a little more people here in the live stream now. So let's just give them a quick, brief overview of your project and talk about those rewards and why they're so attractive.
absolutely. Well, Ethsaitama is a rewards token on the Binance Smart Chain that provides 8% rewards in pegged Ethereum as a passive dividend. Those go straight into your wallet. It's based on the volume of trading. So not only do you make those rewards come to you when people buy, but they also come to you when they sell. The way I structured the smart contract was in a way that it kind of protects you against dumps, right? So when the price goes up and you're in fear of people dumping, then go ahead and let them sell off because you make money as they sell off. You get rewards on those sales, and you can in turn take those rewards. And this is free game, guys. You can save those rewards for a dip and control the floor in essence, and get a lot more for your money than you would if you were buying during times when there's a green candle.
Well, that sounds really good. So 8% rewards in Ethereum on the Binance Smart Chain. Are those rewards realized on the Seifu swap as well?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. The cool thing about Seifu Swap is they also use Pancake Swap's router, right? So everything that is in your, like, nothing has to be changed in the smart contract. All of the volume and everything is just as though you were purchasing it on Pancake. It's just a lot easier to do using Seifu Swap.
Okay, so let's talk about the utility of your project. What is the main utility? Is the main utility the reflections, or do
Yeah.
you have other things coming down the pipeline?
Well, the main utility is the rewards. I like to consider that the best investment vehicle on the planet right now, in regard to passive income. Again, because you don't have to dump your initial investment in order to receive profit. Now, I could go into a long diatribe about and use buzzwords like P to E games, metaverse, DAP, dashboard, this, that, and the third. And those are things that are actively being worked on, but I don't like to say that they're utilities because they're not current utilities. A lot of people get caught up in what projects say that they're going to do and use that as their current utility when in essence that's not the case.
Okay. How many holders do you have currently in your project?
The last time I checked, it was around 700. But after today, with the beating that the market's taking, I honestly have been scared to look.
Okay. Well, according to Dex Tools, which is not always the most accurate. Well, actually, I'll go over to BSC scan to see what we get. Um, okay, well, it's less on BSC. It says you have about 500 holders on BSC scan, but that could be not accurate as well. Who knows? So let's take a look at your chart because the chart, like you said, the market, the entire market is down, and so goes Bitcoin, so goes the rest of the market. I always say that everything always follows Bitcoin. And at its all time high, Bitcoin was like 65,000, maybe 67. And it's like half of that now.
Right.
And so we can expect projects that were way, way up, they followed suit and they came down as
Absolutely.
well. The other thing about people in the cryptocurrency market, and Travis, it's just true. Everybody wants the new token that is going to give them a quick, really quick profit. And that's all people care about. Like
That's
they want
right.
to jump into something that is going to 10x their money overnight. And when they're in a good project like your project that does pay those the benefits in Ethereum 8%, they're pulling out of projects like yours to jump into that more riskier project because they're like, okay, more risk, more reward. I'll just know when to pull out and take my profits. But people never do. It doesn't matter what project you're
Right.
in, people just won't take their profits. They'll just sit there and let it go down.
Well, it's like the casino, right? And the serotonin levels that are created in your brain when you look at the chart or look at your wallet in order to see how much is in it is the same as when you're at a slot machine and you're waiting on that reel to stop. And if you notice, it's really hard for a lot of people when they win at the casino to leave the casino when they're up.
That is so true. That is so true. There's also something to be said. Possibly the casino's pumping oxygen and drugs and everything to reel you in, to get you to stay there, to make you feel awake and happy. And I'm not saying that happens, but
Right.
could be true.
Well, I am a firm believer that people should take profit, take it responsibly, of course, and don't wreck a project's chart. But I'm a firm believer that when you've reached your profit point, pull the money that you put in out at least, as opposed to keeping it in there to see how high it can go. What's happened in the space, you saw, we actually watched in real time from last year until now. We watched a change in the mindset of an investor, right? Because before, people thought about investing in projects and said, oh, if I just hold this, I'm holding this for years. Or if I just hold this for a few months or a year, then it may make me millions, right? Well, we saw that change from a few months to a year to everyone trying to get in on a launch. to do a 100x and 8 out of a project. So it really kind of makes us as investors really vulnerable to things like rugs and bad actors because they prey on our greed as investors.
I mean, you can't argue with that. 100% true. Bobby Basehead says, I'll invest if their KYC certification with Seifu. I'm going to guess that your KYC certified with Seifu.
Yes, we are. Well, actually, Seifu did the audit. The KYC certification is being done by Certic, but I'm also going to have one done with Seifu as well because I do think that Seifu is going to become the gold standard in the space, or at least one of the projects that is the gold standard in the space for things like audits and KYC, just because they are extremely thorough.
So, of course, right now, Certic is the gold standard.
Right.
You think they're going to dethrone Certic?
Maybe not dethrone, but they definitely have an opportunity to grab some market share. So Sean, if you're listening, take heed. You have opportunity is right now. Grab as much market share as you can.
Well, I'm sure he is listening, and he's probably agreeing. That's for sure. So, yeah, I'm really happy that you came on tonight because it's nice to have somebody on here that knows what they're talking about, is very confident in their project, and has a real good roadmap. So let's talk about your roadmap.
Absolutely. And before, let me qualify it by saying it was tentative, and as the space is changing, so are the needs of investors and what I've seen as the vision for the project. As I said before, I don't want to provide yellow brick road dreams of play to earn games and metaverse environments when that's not actively being developed. Those are things that we want to do, but those aren't things that, I don't have a group of coders right now building me a game. Even though that's something that I want, I just try my best to be as upfront, honest, and transparent with investors as I possibly can.
Okay, that's good. So, as far as your roadmap goes, when I say that's good, I mean, I appreciate your honesty because a lot of times people just say that, right? Like,
Right.
hey, blockchain coming, play to earn game, metaverse, watch out. We're going to be all over that. Hey, and you should see, we got our NFT package is coming. You just
Yes.
wait. So I appreciate that you're tempering expectations with, we'd like to do that, but we're not saying that that's, coming soon.
That's absolutely, and I want everyone to know, like I am heavy into the NFT space. When I did MetaFest, I went into it coming from the NFT community. I was the CMO of an NFT project called MILM NFT. It's moms I'd like to men. It's a play on the word MILF. So I was really heavy into the NFT community and kind of segued into being heavy into crypto as well. So yes, NFTs are something we are actively working with and seeking studios to develop an NFT collection based on anime characters from the show One Punch Man.
Okay, so that's another thing that I wanted to bring up. Now, when you hear the name Eth Saitama, we don't say Saitama on this channel anymore. We usually just say Token
Token
A.
A.
It's
Token
Token A. So, when people hear that name, of course, they always go to the Saitama token. But Saitama token got its name from anime.
Correct.
So that's why you're named Eth Saitama. Nothing to do with Saitama.
Correct. Now, that being said, I was a pretty big bag holder of Saitama up until recently, of course, after they kicked me in the balls a few times after launch. But, when I launched, the initial plan was to I was going to cross chains, right, and purchase Saitama to burn Token A. Sorry.
It's
I was
okay.
going to purchase, I was going to cross change, purchase Token A, and send it to the Burn wallet to kind of, in solidarity and to provide an extra utility for the project, but that did not go over well with the tens of people. I wanted to say thousands, but it's usually a small group that has the biggest megaphones that cause the most trouble.
Why wouldn't they want you to burn their token?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I actually had a vote because what I've done now is I've made it a community decision, right? And so what I've done is had the community vote on, there you go, on which token to burn, and these smaller communities beat out the 300,000 holder token A.
Wow. Token A. Only token A would be upset that you're trying to burn their token
Right. And
and help
again,
them out, right?
that's, nothing against token A. I was a holder for a long time. Still hold a small bag. It's not as big as the one I did hold, but got a lot of love for the people in the community. But I just can't. I couldn't deal with the toxicity and the negativity and the constant bickering and the childish insults and the word "fuck" being thrown around, every 30 seconds, and it just got old, for lack of a better term.
Right. So I hear ya. I know exactly how that goes. Yeah, there's no love lost between the Saitama community and I, which is a shame because, everybody I think holds a bag of Saitama that's now
Absolutely.
basically a dust wallet at this point. You can't even sell it because it's not worth the gas fees that it would take to sell. So that's how that goes. So when your community votes over here to decide which one you're going to burn, when do you actually do the burn? How long does it take? Is this the first community vote?
This is the first community vote. The first burn actually happened the day after we launched, and I burned. I think it was 450 billion of token A, which was at the time I think like $8,000. But as far as this burn goes, it weighed on me pretty heavily because again, I went into this wanting to burn token A, but a lot of members of the community just came to me and just kept saying, we probably don't want to do it. Let's look at other tokens to burn or just burn ours. And so this burn is going to be, in addition to our own token, we're going to be burning ETH SHIB since they won the poll.
Okay, great.
And that will be happening either on the 10th or the day before.
Okay, so we do have a comment here saying, can I get the address to use on Uniswap? Um, I mean, you could go on Pancake Swap and you can go on Seifu Swap.
Tell
So
them
I'm not.
tell them it's 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. just kidding, just kidding. We are on Pancake Swap and Seifu Swap.
Let me go ahead and just, I'll come over. This is the BSC scan page for your token. So let me just, well, the address should be here. Hold on, I got to put my glass. Here it is, contract. Can I copy this? Copy address. And let me come back to the StreamYards. That's you, right? The OXD 2800?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. That's your address. But please, it's not on Uni. You got to go to Pancake or Seifu Swap. Okay, bud? Cheaple says. Oh. Bobby Basehead, safe travels, B lady. Oh, okay, that's got nothing to do with that. Oh, safe travel, B lady. Okay, so I have another question for you. So your original supply was 1 quadrillion,
That is correct.
and you burned half upon launch.
Yes.
Okay, so your circulating supply as of right now is half of that plus less, right? Because you've been burning.
Well, I burned 50.4%. So I burned there should be 496 trillion in supply still. And I'm
Okay.
trying to be really careful about how much I burn. And just to another piece of free game for those that are listening, you can in fact burn too much of your token, and then when you need tokens in the future for things like staking, or to get onto central exchanges, or to get onto exchanges that need liquidity, you're in a bind because now you have to wait for people to sell tokens in order for you to get on those exchanges. So you can burn too much and do long-term damage to your project. So I know that that's what everyone wants because they think it has an immediate long-term effect on the price, but a lot of times it may show a green candle for a few hours, but the long-term effect is better served by saving those tokens and using them for actual things that are going to provide utility.
I agree.
Sorry for being long-winded.
No, hey, I want you to explain every aspect that you can of your project because when I think of projects now, I'm the person that you described earlier that I tend to buy and I hodl because I always think of the long-term
Right.
perspectives of that project and what it's going to bring to you down the line. I don't need to be the one that, goes and flips and makes a ton of money overnight and okay, I'm done with it. Like I'd rather put my money safely into something that is going to garner some profits. Doesn't have to be now, can be safely down the road and has the potential of going even way, way higher.
Right.
That's why
Well,
projects like your project, the crypto.com coin, I have faith in all of these projects that they're going to do well. I don't need it
well,
to
thank you. Thank
yeah,
you very much.
like I don't need your chart to look crazy because I think that okay, when I see a chart like this, it's down this low. Um, Even with coin view cap, look, oh, I added to my position on coin view cap. Now people might think I'm crazy, but I'm like, no, no, this is the time to add when it's down this low. If you really like the project, if you understand the project and you're convinced that it's going to have great utility and people are really going to use their functionality and their interface in the future in regards to cryptocurrency, I'm putting my money there.
Right. The
Like it
smart,
when the red
smart
candle's there, like
money.
that's my thing. Buy on a red candle. When the
Thank
red candle is there, that's when I buy.
Right. The smart money sells when it's green and buys when it's red. But one thing I wanted to say, and I tell people this a lot, in regard to hopping in and out of positions. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of DGen plays. I've made some in the past as well. But how many people do you actually know that have gotten rich from swing trading? Like the money is made by buying and holding, just in my personal opinion and from what I've seen. That's where the money's made, and you also make money by selling when you see an uptrend and buying when you see a downtrend. If you're trying to catch tops and bottoms, you're gonna hurt yourself more often than not.
Right, 100%. I always say it's not about timing the market, it's about time in the
Right,
market. That's the safest thing to do. That's the best way to make money. They tell
right,
everybody time and time again, if you're just, adding to your position on your major holdings once a week, you're going to make out a lot better, a lot
right,
more profitable down the road than somebody that's just chasing, a dream and trying to flip and it's just
right.
it's simply the truth. It's just
One
law of
bad decision,
statistics.
yep, one bad decision or one rug can ruin a streak that you've had for six straight 10x's, right? You can have six straight 10x's and then you run into the one that you thought was the one and you ape in and they rug and you've lost it all. When you could have just stayed in project number one and 10x.
Here, here. That's I completely agree with you. As far as your rewards go, the 8% reflections, how
Yes.
often are they paid?
Every 3,600 seconds. It is hard coded into the contract to pay out once every hour. But for those, another piece of free game for you guys. If you want to trigger a disbursement, all you have to do is interact with the smart contract. So if you buy, even if it's a small amount of tokens, that will trigger a disbursement.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So every hour they're going to be paid out. So when somebody purchases uh, Eth Saitama, do they have to, I would imagine, do they have to import the pegged Ethereum into their wallet so that they can see it?
Yes. Yeah, but that does it. But they don't have to import it for it to be distributed to their wallet. It's automatically going to their wallet. But yes, in order to see it, you would have to import the pegged ETH address, and that is in our Telegram /reward.
Okay, guys. So if you're wanting to get your, you will, of course, you will get your reflections. But if you want to see them reflected in your wallet and you don't already have that pegged ETH in your wallet, you do need to import that as a custom token. This way you can see it when it populates in there every single hour. You're going to be getting those reflections. It's 8% of Ethereum on the Binance Smart Chain. So that's an incredible amount of reflections. And, when you're getting your volume back and pumping, because the market is going to recover. I know it's hard for people to believe. I know people are down. We've taken some beatings over the past couple days, and people are unhappy, wondering if it's ever going to recover. When is this going to be over? Number one, I don't even think this really is a bear market, because it could be. I've seen things get so much worse. So I wouldn't even classify this as a bear market. Would you? Would you, Travis?
Not necessarily a bear market. It's just not as bullish as it was, and there's a lot of fear regarding the future of the economy, and that's the global economy, not just the U.S. or the European economy. That's globally.
Yeah, I hear you. It's just, the world today. And one of the things about cryptocurrency, like I said before, people are always looking to chase that next big 10x dream, that they're willing to, okay, well, you know what? I think I'm just going to pull my money out of this project. I'll go
Right,
buy that. I'll get more profits, and then I'll come back home with even
right.
more profits. I'll be able to get a bigger bag. But sometimes stuff goes sideways, and
And you get wrecked.
yeah, you get wrecked. And the thing that you shouldn't have sold,
Right,
because it's going to be going up, you're going to be missing out on that. So
right,
sometimes it's just smart to not, guys, it's smart to not gamble. It's smart to really look at your tokens as an asset, especially if it's a token that's, you know, not so much a meme coin, but has actual utility, as far as, okay, this is our utility, is we're paying you in Ethereum to
right.
just simply hold it. You don't even have to stake it. If you simply hold it in your wallet, those rewards will come to you.
Right. And that's one thing, because people were asking me a lot about staking, and we actually are in the process of putting that together as well. That is something I can say we are actively working on doing right now, as well as while you will get rewards on your stake tokens. But that's neither here nor there. Um, yes, the rewards actually provide the functionality of staking without the commitment of locking up your tokens, right? So that's the thing I like about rewards so much, is because you still get the benefit of that passive income, but you still have control over whether or not to sell or keep your tokens.
Right. And I think that's just, it's easier that way to not have to, okay, I put my tokens in for staking. I think it was 60 days ago. I'm not sure. Do I harvest them? It's so much nicer to just buy the token and just have it sit in your wallet, and then you just have to leave it sitting in your wallet. There's nothing you have to do. It takes care of itself. It's very, very easy. So I definitely dig that about Eth Saitama. So what are some of the big things that you have coming down the pipeline?
Well, we are going live on Dojo Swaps version 2. The tentative date is Wednesday. They are going live with their version 2 on Monday. So I'm glad that we're not going to be like the first thing that's on there. Like, let's make sure it works the way it's supposed to work. But we're going live with them on Wednesday. We are looking to get listed on Crypto Dinero, which is a central exchange, very soon as well. And that's something that we're actively doing. And the central exchanges, we've been courted by a lot of them, and a lot's relative. Let me say, we've been courted by a number of them. And it's just hard to decide which one to go with regarding price, number of users, etc.
That was going to be my next question. Are you on any exchanges? And so you're not on any centralized
No,
exchanges.
no centrals yet. Crypto Dinero will likely be our first. And then we are looking at, of course, like the Bitmarts, the P2Ps, B2Bs, the BKEXs, etc. So, of course, I can talk about that because nothing is actively happening with those. When you hear me shutting up about it, that's when you'll know that it's happening in a few days. But yes, that is something that we are actively looking at. But the one thing that I will tell people, the reason that it's often difficult for the reward tokens to get onto these central exchanges is because there is a back end coding issue, right? And there's also a custodial issue. Because when your tokens are on a central exchange, you technically don't own those tokens, right? The central exchange does. So who gets those rewards? It's not you, the holder, it's the central exchange. And how likely do you think the central exchange is to want to give up that money to their holders? So it's not a difficult thing to resolve. It's just a matter of them changing a few things in their back end coding, but getting them to do it has been like pulling molars out of somebody without any anesthesia.
So, okay, so Dojo Swap is coming up.
Yes.
Now, we know to list on Dojo Swap is not expensive as far as the actual listing fee, but you do have to put the tokens on there and they have to be backed by liquidity. You can't
Yes,
just take tokens and throw them on there.
that's correct.
So, how many tokens will you be loading onto Dojo Swap?
I don't remember, but I know whatever is 15 or $20,000 worth of them. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
Okay, guys, so when it hits Doja Swap, I think there's a chance, probably a good chance, that there's going to see a price bump. So
Oh
this
yeah,
is where I would add to Eth Saitama because
absolutely,
it's on a
absolutely.
red candle day. It's down today, guys. And this is what I say. It's always a good time to add to your position when the chart is down. And of course, I'm not sharing the thing. But the chart is down. It's a red candle day, and it's a good time to add to your position when it's down because it's going to launch on Doja Swap with the potential of other centralized exchanges coming up. Um, Not major centralized exchanges sounds like, but because guys, those are so expensive. I think to get on Bitmart, just just to get on Bitmart, not even your tokens to be on there, but just to list, I heard is $30,000. Well, I've heard anywhere from 30 to 90. I don't know why there's such a big price differential between the people that I've heard from, but I've heard 30 to 90.
It's let me say hypothetically speaking, it's 70,000.
Okay. So okay, that's now the third price I've heard. So okay. But yours kind of like lays right there in the middle, so it sounds, probably like that's maybe the price, but that's
And
crazy.
as I understand it, again, this is hypothetically. But as I understand it, there are different listing packages, so you get different services. But what people have to understand is that in addition to paying to list on these exchanges, you also have to provide liquidity, right? In addition to that, you also have to have a market maker. So it's not just a matter of paying the listing fee. You have to have significant revenue and a market maker in order to do it. That's why you see a lot of projects that aren't ready to list. And when I say not ready, they may have the funds to list, right? But they may not understand some of the intricacies regarding market making and things of that nature. And so they'll go on the exchange and you'll see them get a little bit of volume really quick. And then you'll see that volume kind of dry up. And it's because of things like that, them not understanding that they actually have to do that themselves or provide that service, even though they've paid to list.
If you are to get on a centralized exchange, or when you get onto centralized exchanges, Are you going to pick those centralized exchanges that only allow you to do the reflections?
If that's all that's available at the time, then yes. But again, we are working with a couple of them to get them to change some of the things in their back end coding structure. And again, it's not like there's a lot that has to change. It's more of a custodial issue because of the ownership of the tokens problem. So, or not problem, but we'll say the ownership of the tokens issue is the issue.
Okay. One of your people, I'm going to guess this Bobby Basehead is one of your people here. Wasn't there a connection in New Orleans with Eth Saitama? So it sounds like they've got some news here. What's the situation with that?
Yes, they've got a little bit of inside information. I've got a friend who has a CBD store in New Orleans and has another one in New York City that wants to use ETH SATA as currency for people to be able to buy and sell his products, and that's anywhere in the world.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
I like CBD. I like THC.
Also, are working on our own brand of Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee.
Okay, coffee. You have I perked right up. I am a coffee
Did I,
connoisseur. I
oh,
love coffee.
did I bury the lead? I apologize. But
I drink coffee. Look, I'm drinking coffee right now, even though it's late
yeah,
at night. Caffeine, I'm not affected by for some reason, so I could drink 10 cups of coffee a day and it won't keep me up.
right.
I love
And
coffee.
that is something I can say that we are actively working on. I actually have someone who owns a farm in Jamaica that farms coffee, but we have to work out the export license from the Jamaican government. And if you know anything about government and politics over there, it's a little bit different.
Oh,
Than
you got to grease a lot of palms.
it's a little different
Yeah.
than it is here. So we are simply working on getting the export license from there. We've already got a third party. We've already got a packaging company here and import licenses for the United States, but just need the export license from Jamaica.
Well, that's super cool.
And if you guys don't know about Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee, please look it up. I'm not a big coffee drinker myself, but that tastes good to me.
I love coffee. I love coffee. There is one coffee that I won't drink, though. I'm sure you know which one that is. If you're a coffee connoisseur, there's a special kind of coffee bean that certain animals like to eat, and then they gather those, if you know what I mean, after it's been digested. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's disgusting. I won't drink that one. I don't love coffee that much, but apparently it's a delicious coffee. But I'm just not willing to try it. I'm sorry. If it's been through a digestive system, I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to. I don't want it. I just don't want
That
it.
was on a movie. I cannot remember the movie though. Oh my goodness. As soon as we get off here, I'm gonna remember it.
Yeah, it's like legit. That
Right.
happens, and
Yeah.
I won't drink it. It's too risky to me. It's too risky. Well, this is really great. So you're still very young. You're a young token. You clearly are smart. You know what you're doing. How long have you been in cryptocurrency?
Um, about 2 weeks. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Well, that sucks
No,
because your token's older than that.
no. Right. No, a few years now. But up until last year, when I say I was in it, I was just check my Coinbase every few weeks when I heard some news guy. Now my roommate from grad school has been really heavy into it for years, and so that's where I picked up a lot of my knowledge on the front end, right? And so he was in the whole ICO boom a few years ago, and it actually provided him with the opportunity to retire from corporate. So I'm super jealous that he was able to do that in such a short amount of time. But that's where I got a lot of my front end knowledge from, of course, and then doing the deep dive I did over the last 6 to 12 months has been pretty cool. And I've probably learned more in the last, um, 4 or 5 months than I could have crammed into an entire year of graduate school.
Is that how long you've been planning to launch your token?
I've been planning to launch my token since probably since Obama was in office, but I, I,
Really? Are
I,
you a procrastinator or just never was the right time?
it just things come up. That things come up. You get hungry. You gotta eat, and it just no. No, I was planning. I've honestly been planning on launching my own token for about a year. But it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back, and then I decided to do the virtual trade show. And I did a deep dive on NFTs and spent a few months in that sector of the space. So it's been I would say that I've gotten pretty well rounded. And one thing that I did and made it a point to do was I actually talked to people, right? And if you notice, like, I don't really talk about money a lot. I actually talk about like the business of crypto, and not just like how much I can make on it or how much somebody can make. And that's where I ended up learning a whole lot. And I actually talked to developers and try to pick their brain and try to soak up as much knowledge as possible. And the next thing you're able to update your own website because it's hard to find a web developer. So you're having to teach yourself to do a whole lot of things and asking people questions.
So it sounds like you're a renaissance man. You do a little bit of, would you be able to, do you understand smart contracts? Like, are
A
you able to?
little, a little, and that's only because the gentleman that I hired. Well, I won't even say the gentleman. I'll just say his name, Ken Toshi, a good friend of mine. That's who wrote our smart contract, right? I spent an entire week with him going through the contract line by line to understand what it was I was seeing, and how to utilize and understand the contract and its functions. And that actually it gave me like it provided another dynamic, or another tool in my tool belt. So because it gave me the opportunity to at least like understand what it was I was doing, understand what it means to have a tax imposed on a sale, and the mechanics behind that.
Okay. How long did that little tutorial take, if you don't
Uh,
mind me asking?
about a week, about a week. And it's funny, like, I actually spoke to him today, because I had some more questions, like, hey man, what do you think about this? Or and I'm always bouncing stuff off of him, right? Like would I be able to do this with our smart contract? Would it interact well with it? Will I have any issues if I go on this exchange? Can you check out their code and just make sure that I won't have a problem, or we won't have an issue with things being clogged or bottlenecked. And he's been really, really gracious as far as helping me and walking me through it, and holding my hand with a lot of stuff, because I came into it like, hey man, can you write a contract? And he's like, well, I can, but you really need to understand it. And I appreciate that, because I don't want somebody to just, it's one of those things like, don't give me fish, teach me how to fish.
Right. That's great. So you understand your own smart contract. I think that's very
Yes.
important. You've been planning it for a very long time, and alas, you were able to launch it in March. So, what are the mechanics behind launching a token? Like, physically, how long did it take you to do it from start to finish? Like, as soon as you seriously dove into it, and if you don't mind me asking, how much money did it cost you to do that? And did you have
Including,
investors in with you, or was it just strictly your cash?
well, the lion's share of it was me and another party, and we allowed about 5 or 6 other people to come in, with very minuscule amounts, to help with liquidity. But all in all, just me personally, it costs about 25 thousand, but that's including like website, smart contract build out, testing. You know, we tested the contract for about 2 weeks, running through it and putting it under stress tests, to make sure that there wouldn't be any issues. So the entire process took about from start to finish, maybe 2.5 to 3 months. And that's actually like delving into the actual work. The tutorial, as far as teaching me about the contract itself, we took about a week to go through line by line to try to understand it. And then even post launch, you know, we've still kind of gone through it. And anything that I've had a question about, he's been great about answering.
Okay, what do you see as far as are you doing further marketing for your project?
Absolutely. Absolutely. One thing that I am going to try to stray away from, because I honestly, the whole like paying for shillers and stuff, like I fell for it. I'll be the first.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but just to
Oh,
let everybody know, this is not a paid AMA.
it's
This
not a
is
paid MA
this
at
is
all.
okay.
this
Continue.
is
I'm
this
sorry.
is a conversation. It's not. Yeah, this is not a paid MA. She's not shilling. As you can tell, she's asking me some tough questions. But yes, you know, I fell for it, like a lot of other projects do that are new, and people that are new devs. I fell for it. You know, the whole, hey, you know, I've got 100,000 followers. You know, if you pay me this, I'll tweet this out, and you know, I fell for it. When in reality, like I should have taken a step back and looked at it and asked myself, what was it that brought you to crypto, Travis? You know, I hate to speak in the third person, but you know, what was it that brought you to crypto, Travis? Like, what was it that got you excited about a project? Where did you go for information? And the answer to that is I went to YouTube. That's where I went first. Like I went to YouTube. That's where I did my searches. That's where I was able to listen and see, as opposed to just scrolling on a feed. And if you think about it, like I was listening to you the other night, and what you said really resonated with me, because if you think about it, if someone's at work, they're not going to be scrolling on their phone for hours on end because they'll get in trouble, right? But they can have their earbuds in, and listen to someone on YouTube talk about a project. So to answer your question, yes, we have some significant marketing efforts coming up.
Okay, it's not like you said earlier. It's not an inexpensive thing,
Right.
but I think if you connect with the right people, like smaller, but like people that are willing to, keep the word out. And I'm not even speaking like necessarily about you when I was saying that,
Yeah,
because
oh, absolutely.
I'm talking about these bigger projects that are fading because they're missing, their narrative is just not being pushed.
Right.
They've kind of fallen out of the limelight, and people have lost trust with them.
Right.
Like there's been things that have happened in projects and people have lost trust. And I think it's important to, have a consistent narrative. Somebody
Right.
telling all the things that are, hey, guess what? We're looking forward to this. This is coming. This is coming down the road. So yeah, I mean, I don't envy people because I know personally it can be expensive. Some of the bigger guys, you're paying like 30 grand in AMA. Like
Right.
that's
Right.
crazy. I mean, that's a lot, and people pay it
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because they have the money, and then other people refuse to pay it even though they have the money, but there's other alternatives. There's got to be an in between $30,000 and free. Like there's
Right.
got to be a healthy in between, and it can't be 15,000. When I say in between, I don't mean 15,000. I mean like relatively speaking what somebody's time is worth and the advantages that it brings to the project and all of that. But you know, as far as your marketing budget, I do want to bring up your, oh, actually, are we going to do it here? I just want to go over, while you're still here, let me see. Obviously, the top wallet is going to be your burn wallet, and we could see over 50% is tucked away there. Tell us about this number two wallet, this pink sail, pink lock wallet.
Right. Those tokens are stashed away in case we need them for things such as staking or to go on a central exchange. And I'm praying that Coinbase calls one day in the very near future, but that neither here nor there. Binance will probably be first. CZ is supposed to be giving me a call tomorrow.
There you go.
Right. But yes, we have those tokens stashed away, and that again is another reason why I say you have to be kind of careful with burning, because you don't want to need those tokens and not have them available to you.
And clearly, the third wallet are going to be the tokens that are sitting on PancakeSwap. And all of the other wallets are about 1% or less. So there's no
Right.
big, huge holder here that's going to come and wreck
Right.
anybody.
Well,
It's
funny thing, there is a function in the contract, and I have the max wallet set to 1%. So you will not see wallets over 10.
so we should feel confident that
Absolutely.
no one person is going to go in there and wreck us.
That is absolutely correct.
Okay. So I'm back on your Twitter feed here. And obviously, I see you have the AMA posted about that you had done with Sandstorm, which is how I found out about you, my buddy
Oh, cool.
Sandstorm. Uh, I'm guessing this is the 1 inch man.
Yes. Yes. One Punch
Oh,
Man.
oh crap. Okay, this would help.
Well, let me say that the character Eth Saitama is based on the character Saitama from One Punch Man. As you can see, Eth Saitama has a little bit of melanin in his skin and has an Ethereum logo on his forehead to represent the Ethereum that he brings to the masses. This is the first Ethereum superhero on the Binance Smart Chain, guys. He's bringing Ethereum to the masses one punch at a time.
That's great. One punch at a time, people. Punch out. That sounds really great. And are you very active on Twitter?
I am pretty active, but I try to be as PC as possible, especially being the dev of a project. There's a lot of things that I kind of want to say that I'm like, well, let me kind of
No,
put
you
my
can't
head
say
down on.
anything.
Right.
You have got to be quiet about everything. There is nothing you could say that, you need to just stick to your token.
Right.
Just stick to your token because it's going to be a no-win situation. I
Exactly.
trust me, it's going to be a no-win situation. So the best thing that you can do is just stick to the happy good news about your own project.
Right. Right. Stay out of the mess, stay out of the negativity, the toxicity, live bullish and just do the best that I can do to stay in my lane.
Absolutely. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell the people that have joined us tonight for the AMA about your project that in case they're on the fence thinking about getting into your projects that might swing them over your way?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and this is just a general statement about the space, and I'll tie it in with how it relates to our project. Well, devs in the space, like most of us are not the best in the world at what we do, right? That we don't have a service that we can patent, a formula that we can patent, a delivery method that we can patent. But what the smart developers and projects do is they partner with the right companies that do provide those things in an efficient way. Now, what we do is try to provide a unique user experience. We identify and we isolate market segments and we brand that concept to our community. Now, as it relates to Eth Saitama, again, we're a rewards token on the Binance Smart Chain that provides 8% rewards in pegged Ethereum. That's a passive dividend that goes directly into your wallet.
All right, guys, did you hear that? Passive income gets paid directly to your wallet in Ethereum on the Binance Smart Chain. So pegged Ethereum. It's not going to be Ethereum that pops up on your MetaMask. Well, it can be in your MetaMask, but it's going to be on the Binance Smart Chain. And
Right.
all you have to do is buy the token, hold your token. If you don't already have the pegged Ethereum in your wallet, you have to import that as a custom token, and then you'll start seeing your reflections populate. Travis told us that they get paid out every single hour. So
Right.
that's,
Every 3,600 seconds.
geez, every
Yeah,
3,600
and I
seconds.
say it like that because like that's how you have to code it into the contract because it goes by seconds. So you have to put it. I was like, why can't we just put an hour? He was like, no, man, you got to do it like this because it goes by units. So, so yeah, it's every 3,600 seconds.
Is there a reason that you picked an hour?
Um, well, I wanted to do it where it would be fast enough for people during times of high volume, right? I wanted them to get excited about the Ethereum that was coming into their wallet, right? And I didn't want people to have to wait like 3 days, right? Because if somebody wants to compound their rewards or to take those rewards and pay a bill or do whatever, like I didn't want them to have to wait. So I felt like an hour was perfect timing, but I also didn't want to set it low enough to where it would exhaust the contract with gas fees because it was performing so many transactions within the smart contract because I could have set it to every 60 seconds. But that would have exhausted the contract and then it runs out of gas. And I've got, not only do I have a lot of misconfigs within the contract, but I would have a lot of failed transactions because the smart contract would be trying to execute those, but wouldn't be able to.
Right. Yeah, normally people pay like on a daily basis.
Right.
But it makes sense that you'd want to get people excited in the higher times of volume. Hey, we got a question. Besides the questions that your people have been asking that have already all are in on it,
Right.
how is he able to pay Ethereum? Does doesn't that have to come out of his own pocket? So can you explain how that happens?
Yes. The smart contract is coded to take the BNB that is used to purchase the Eth Saita tokens. And within the smart contract, it performs a function where it actually purchases Ethereum and it distributes it to the holders.
Well, that was good. Oh, hold on. He has another question. This one seems lengthy. I hope it's a legit question. How does it work, though? Oh, okay. You basically just explained how. I can understand if he can give out his own token because he created and he can't mint, however, many on his own token. But how could you? Okay, well, you just explain. Okay, so now he said, okay, never mind. Thank you, Rodrigo. And I hope that cleared it up for you. In case anybody was wondering how that happened, no, it's he's not Mr. Moneybags over here, Travis, or maybe he is. I don't freaking know. Travis probably has 50 bags of Ethereum,
I
all
wish.
packed with Ethereum, and he's just dishing them out. He sits with his phone and he waits for every hour on the hour, and he just goes and he sends the Ethereum to everybody. So that definitely answered his question. Travis, it's been a pleasure to speak to you. You've been a wonderful guest, and I really appreciate you coming by the channel. I really do. I hope everybody comes, maybe people that aren't here right now, because I usually send out tweets saying that this is going to happen, and I like to, bring people over to watch, but I didn't do that.
Right. That's
So
okay.
people eventually, if you want to share the link saying that you just attended an AMA, your people might go over and I wouldn't necessarily say my name. I would just say you attended an AMA. This way, it'll spread the word out there, and it'll be good for your token. And of course, I've tagged it several times with every different which way that I could possibly tag it. This way, if somebody goes onto YouTube and does try to search your token,
Right.
this AMA is going to pop up along with Sandstorm's AMA. And if there's any questions, hopefully this will clear it up for them and they'll decide to be a holder. Also, in the description box, I have left a link for your Twitter and your website. And I do believe on your Twitter there's a link, like one of those link trees, or there's, well, definitely a link that goes directly to your website and to your Telegram. I
Yep.
didn't actually do the Telegram link, but if you guys want to go and pop into the Telegram, I always say, if you're ever interested in being a part of a token, investing in a token, it is so important to be a part of all their different socials. Find
Right.
out everything you can about that token,
Right.
what's the rumor, what's coming down the pipeline, some of the inside stuff that, a lot of these people had, a little inside knowledge about the coffee and everything, the weed and everything, all that good stuff. Not weed, the other name for weed that we don't call it
CBD.
weed. CBD.
Right.
CBD. Uh-huh. So, I recommend to go hit those links and check them out. Travis, thank you so much for popping by the Crypto Queen channel. I thank you so much
Absolutely.
for telling all of my subscribers about your project. And guys, please check it out. Not financial advice. Do your own research. Listen to Travis. See if you like him. See if he's an honest dude. He seems honest to me. I'm just saying. But so let's sign off for the night. I don't think there's any more. I've been looking constantly at the comment section just to see if we've had any more questions, but it doesn't seem like we do. The main one was from the other gentleman, and Rodrigo, he asked a really good question and you answered it very well. So I think that's gonna wrap it up here for us, Travis. What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in. Tammy, thank you so much for having me. Love you to death. I'll continue to watch as often as I can.
Perfect, Travis. I really appreciate you. Thank you so very much. And to everyone that tuned in or who's going to tune in, I really appreciate you stopping by the Crypto Queen channel. I really do. And until next time, remember, please take care of yourself and only